Good morning. At least it's morning over here. And I think, yeah, I'm glad to be here. Are you? I look forward to our times together. I was listening to some relaxing music. Okay. I look forward to our times together. And I'm not going to hang out a whole lot of uh, time. I'm not going to use a whole lot of time waiting for people to come on because they can see this on the replay. So those who are here, you get it now. So I'm not going to drag it out. So what I'm going to talk about now is who's the mom, and that is about mothering our mothers, and it brings about feelings of anger and humiliation a lot of times, other feelings too, but that was a main one for me, anger and humiliation, because I didn't want to be the mama. I just wanted to say, but I'm just a kid. I'm just a kid. I don't want to be the mama. But anyway, somehow I ended up being the responsible one in that relationship. You know how that feels, being responsible beyond your age, having to do things that your friends didn't have to do, that their parents did. But because the self absorbed parent is so entitled that they are entitled to steal your youth from you. Because in many cases, that's what happens because you have to become older than your age. You have to behave in ways that children shouldn't have to. So this brings up the shame part because you don't want your friends to know all this responsibility you have because they're out playing and having a good time. And it's an embarrassment to you. You feel embarrassed. You feel bigger than embarrassed. You feel ashamed that you have to do this for your mother. And you know that one day, someone is going to come and rescue you. You have visions about this person coming to rescue you, to save you from all the pressure that you're under as a kid. And look, I'm talking about as a kid, but this stuff just follows you straight into your adulthood, to your young adult, to your middle age, to your senior citizen, uh, until dealt with. And you have to walk around pretending that everything's fine. You really don't know how to act, how to behave. You don't know what normal behavior is. So you just kind of watch your friends and what they do to kind of get cues so that you know how a normal person behaves because your situation is not normal. And you know that. Somehow you know that. Well, you know that because you see your friends. And sometimes you're able to visit their homes and theirs isn't like that. Their mother is doing things, making their snack for when they come home from school, as simple as that. But if you had siblings, you were older, you were the one responsible for making the snacks. It was all about you doing the work. And the horrible part of it is that of all the feelings, the one that's the worst is that you feel motherless. You feel motherless. I was living with my grandmother and we didn't have a television at this time. So I would go next door to the neighbor's house to watch. Okay, I'm going to date myself. To watch the Ed Sullivan Show. I was a kid, but I loved them spinning those plates and all. I loved all that. So that was one of my getaways on Sunday evening to go to Miss Bessie's house and watch television. Well, this particular Ed Sullivan show, he had Paul Robeson as a guest. And Paul Robeson started to sing the song that he's really, one of the songs that he's really famous for is Sometimes I Feel Like a Motherless Child. Whew. I remember the weight that lifted off me that somebody understands. Somebody understands that sometimes I feel like a motherless child. I got that. It went into my soul. I didn't feel so, I don't know. I didn't feel so out of whack. You know, I can't think of a good word, a big word, a psychological word, or whatever. I was just out of whack. I didn't feel so out of whack after I heard Paul Robeson sing, Sometimes I Feel Like a Motherless Child. So, okay, so fast forward to the next day. I am dusting or doing something at my grandmother's house, and I just start singing that song. Sometimes I feel like a motherless child. So I was just singing it. My grandmother heard me and she said, Marva, why, Marva? I'm gonna tell your mother. Instant shame. Instant shame. So I learned that I couldn't let anybody see my feelings because they were going to shame me for having feelings. They were going to shame me for having my feelings because I know my grandmother loved me and she shamed me anyway. Never sang that again. Well, anyway, you know, when you are the parent in the house, you mother your mother. You are the responsible one in the household, and you feel angry and resentful because of the extra pressure on your life. Your mother looks to you to fix her messes. My mother looked to me to fix her messes. To this day, she still expects me to fix her messes, but I don't anymore. I don't. You feel motherless and lost, never feeling like the child in the relationship. Motherless and lost, and never feeling like the child in the relationship. But see, I wore this for a purpose. We are here to do battle, to get past all of this stuff, to get past the feelings of being motherless and lost and never feeling like the child in the relationship. But I'm here to tell you today that it does not have to be that way. I found out by trial and error, it does not have to be that way. It does not. Uh, you have a life. You have a life that's your own separate and distinct life to live to your highest glory. That's your birthright. You have that. And you can have the life that you want with ease. You don't have to feel guilty for having a life of your own. Doesn't have to be that way. you can have a life of your own with ease. With ease. But what you need is a strategy. You need a way to do this. You need a strategy. We've tried a lot of stuff. But we need a strategy to step out of those old patterns and to get past the feelings of anger and humiliation and all of those parts that come up and those angry parts, those humiliated parts that still come up today. Doesn't have to be that way. Doesn't have to be that way. And it won't be that way with a strategy. So that's exactly what I do with my clients. I help them find a strategy for getting past all of that past hurt, all of those parts of you that are damaged, that step up to take care of yourself, take care of you when you're feeling those old feelings. So if you're done with unreasonable anger, shame, guilt, and living less than you want to live, living a life less than you want to live, if you know that there has to be another way and you are ready, you're ready, ready, because you have to be ready, and you are ready to shake loose those old program shackles. If you're ready, then private message me and I can get you the same results that I get from my clients.